Hey, I'm Chef Rich, a classically trained chef, author, and award-winning culinary educator. With over 2 decades of experience, I've discovered that food is more than just food. It's our greatest medicine. But here's the truth. There is no quick fixes, magic pills, superfoods, or diets that work. Welcome to a different kind of cooking show. Our mission? To inspire, educate, and prove that getting healthy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I'll share tips on saving you money at the grocery store, saving you time in the kitchen, and creating meals that everyone will eat. I'll expose the lies about food, reduce the stress about what's for dinner, and remove the struggle of getting healthy. If you give me a chance, I promise, we'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. Now let's get cooking. Hey, I'm Chef Rich, and welcome to One Plate Kitchen, where we save you money at the grocery store, we save you time in the kitchen, and we make delicious meals that are easy, fun, and healthy. Today, we're kind of going off the track a little bit, and we're going to do a meatless dish. Now, if you know me, you know I love meat. I love beef, I love chicken, I love fish. I love all kinds of meat. But that doesn't mean I'm against having just a meal, just vegetables. I love my vegetables too. So having a dish that just is all that's meatless I'm okay with it. All right, as long as it has amazing flavor and it tastes delicious, I'm down with it. So we're gonna make a zucchini and chickpea kind of stir fry with quinoa. Now we're gonna talk about all these ingredients and how they're gonna add to this dish. All right, so now that you know what we're making, let's really get into these ingredients. So our first ingredient we have is our chicken stock. Now you'll notice our chicken stock has stuff floating in it. Whenever I like to do my chicken stock, I always like to, if I have herbs, fresh herbs that I have some end pieces, I always like to cut those off and put it right into either the chicken stock, fish stock, vegetable stock, whatever stock I have. All it does is, as it kind of gets in that hot liquid, it releases a lot of its flavor. And I love that because it just adds more of an herb flavor to it. So it just gives a little bit more complexity. And I get to utilize 100% of everything I buy. I don't like to waste anything. Now we have quinoa. We're going to use quinoa today. Quinoa is one of those things, it's a complete protein. When we talk about proteins, not all proteins are complete proteins. All right, some proteins have to be mixed with our beans. Some proteins have to be mixed with a carb, so you get a complete protein. Quinoa is one of those things that it's a complete protein. The only way you get complete proteins is from meat sources, like beef and chicken and fish and things like that. All right, the only kind of vegetarian way to get a complete protein is using our quinoa. So I'm going to show you how to use that because it's super easy and we can really impart a lot of flavor with it. We have some tomatoes. We're using canned tomato, which is perfectly fine. We have some green beans. We have our bell pepper. We're using an orange bell pepper today. We have mushrooms. Now, I love mushrooms because they give the dish kind of like a meat texture, but really not, all the extra stuff, that meat brings along with it. But it gives it a really nice, really good texture. We have some fresh cilantro that we use it. Again, if you didn't like cilantro, if you wanted to use parsley, you definitely use parsley. So interchange it to whatever ingredient you love or whatever fresh herb you love. We have everyone's best friend, our herb salt. We have some onions. Here we have kind of a triad of different flavors. So we have dry rosemary, we have dry thyme, and then we have some spice. Now today we're bringing the fire. All right, this right here is cayenne pepper. Now if you haven't used cayenne pepper before, I would caution you, a little bit goes a long way. Now, and I'll tell you the story about how my students used to use cayenne pepper. They didn't really know how to use it and what happened when I got to taste it. We have some fresh garlic there. We have our chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. And then we have some zucchini. All right, so we have an array of incredible flavors and textures that we're going to make this dish out of. All right, now since you know all of the stars of this dish, let's get cooking. First thing we want to start with is our quinoa. And I know you would think, oh, we're going to start with the vegetables first. No, we're going to do our quinoa first. Quinoa takes about 15 to 18 minutes to cook. And I want to make sure, one, our quinoa is cooked all the way, but I also want to make sure that our quinoa has tons of flavor. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get our pan hot. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. Again, just so you know, I'm not kidding. We're just going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So we got our tablespoon in there. I'm going to add my onions in first. So I'm going to get these onions in there and let them go. Right now, my onion dice. I have a really, really small or fine dice of my onion. And the reason I have it so small is because you'll see your quinoa is super tiny. All right, I want to make sure the grain of my quinoa matches kind of like whatever else I'm going to put it in there. All right, so if I was going to put in peppers, I would want to make sure my peppers are also like a small dice. All right, so I'm going to start cooking that off. I'm going to turn up some heat. I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic to this because remember, I want it to taste good. There's a rule whenever you're doing anything, whether it be a grain, rice, quinoa, couscous, whatever. If your liquid tastes good, your product will taste good. If your liquid or your mixture does not taste good, when I add my my product to it, like my quinoa, for instance, it's not going to taste good. So I want to make sure my liquid is really seasoned well. I want to make sure everything that I add in here brings a lot of flavor to it. All right, so I'm just going to mix this in a little bit. All right, now it's going to start to give me some nice aroma. Okay, I want to add some salt to this too, my 1 plate herb salt. So we're just going to stir this in. That onion is really starting to release a lot of flavor and aroma. That garlic is also starting to produce a lot, which is great. Oh, it smells incredible. Now from there, what I want to do is I want to start to get my quinoa in there. I want to start to get my quinoa kind of absorbing some of the liquid that's in here right now just from my vegetables. So I'm going to take my quinoa and just add it to it. Now when you're making this, because I know you're going to try this at home, there's a rule to this. All right, I just want to mix this in. I want to get it all incorporated. There's a rule. Here's the rule. All right, so get a pen, paper, whatever, and write this down or remember it. The rule is this. It's 2 parts liquid to 1 part quinoa. All right, so if I put 1 cup of quinoa, dry quinoa in here, I want to put 2 cups of my chicken stock in there. All right, if I put 2 cups of quinoa, 4 cups. All right, so it's a 2 to 1 ratio. All right, 2 to 1 ratio. It's always a 2 to 1 ratio. 2 parts liquid to 1 part quinoa. Okay, always remember that, and I promise you, you will always have perfect quinoa 100% of the time. All right, so this is looking good. It smells great. Now, what we're doing here is we're allowing the quinoa to kind of heat up. We're also toasting it a little bit. Remember, it's a hot pan, so what does that do to the quinoa? All it does is it just allows it to get a little bit of kind of browning caramelization on there, which is going to add more and more flavor to it. I want to be careful because I don't want to burn it. If I burn it, then I have to start over. I want to throw everything out and start all over. All right, but at this point right now, I know it's not burning. I can smell it. I can look at the bottom of the pan. I'm going to show you. You see how it's starting to get a lot like some of this browning on the bottom of the pan? That is a good thing. You know, that's what we want. That means flavor. So now, at this point, I'm going to start to add my chicken stock to it. And that's a beautiful noise. So remember, 2 parts to 1 part. Now all I'm going to do is kind of just stir this in. And I want to let it come to a boil. So as I'm waiting for this, one crucial step, I want to taste it. I want to taste the liquid. Ooh, that's good. I like it. All right, now, I promise you, if your liquid tastes good, your quinoa, I promise, is going to taste good. Now, it doesn't have to be quinoa. It can be rice. If your liquid tastes good, your rice is going to taste good. So you want to make sure you always taste it first. So now I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Now, the great thing with quinoa is there's a couple ways to do it. You can do it in the oven. You can bring this up to a boil, shut it off, cover it, and just set it aside, which is what we're going to do today. All right, you'll see as it kind of cools down, the quinoa absorbs liquid and cooks, and it kind of balances itself out where it's perfectly done within 15 to 18 minutes. So it's coming up to a boil now. Again, all I'm going to do is take my lid and just cover it and just sit it aside. And in 15 to 18 minutes, I'm going to come back. It's going to be perfect. I promise. All right, so now I got my pan on here starting to get nice and hot. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of some oil in here. Again, just 1 tablespoon is all I need. You see my pan is nice and hot. I have that other half of the onion. I use half for the quinoa. The other half I'm going to put in here. So I'm going to cut this up. And then we'll get this right in there. My pan is getting a little hot there, so I'm just going to cool it off a little bit. Ooh, that's a nice noise you hear there. So I'm just going to lower this a little bit because it's getting a little too hot there, which is not bad. All right, I got my onions in there. They're looking good. Now again, if it was getting too hot, one of the things you could do is that's why we have a little bit of chicken stock here, just in case of emergencies. And all that's going to do here is just kind of cool my pan down. The good thing is it's still cooking my onions. So I'm cooling my pan down and I'm cooking my onions at the same time. So it's not a big deal if it's too hot. All right, a little bit of chicken stock, and I promise you it's going to be fine. All right, so we don't need to panic over anything. I'm going to grab my mushrooms here because we're going to get those cut up next. Now with our mushrooms, I want them to be kind of like in a nice, fairly big chunk. Only because remember what I was saying before is we want to make sure we get a nice texture off this. So this is kind of like our meaty texture that we'll have. So I like to leave them a little bit bigger, a little bit chunky, which is fine. If you didn't want to add mushrooms, what could you use to give you that kind of texture? It's really difficult now. Remember, because we're trying to make this vegetarian, there's limited things that we can do that's natural. Let's just say if it's not from the ground that God grows, I don't want you to use it. All right, so that should kind of eliminate a lot of different things that you'll see in the grocery stores. All right, I want you to use real natural ingredients. So I got that in there. I'm going to add a little bit of our herb salt to this too. You'll see mushrooms have about 75 to 85% water. All right, so you're going to see a lot of moisture come out of here, which is it's okay. It's a good thing. All right, I added my salt to that just to kind of help draw some of that moisture out too. All right, it'll kind of speed up that process a little bit. So we're just gonna mix this in. I wish you could smell it because mushrooms, like when you put them in a hot pan, I don't know, they're just like an aroma you get from them that it's hard to describe, but it's like really delicious. All right, so I'm gonna let that go by itself. I'm gonna start cutting up some peppers because I want to get that in there next. And the reason I'm adding peppers is because, one, I love the color. I think the color is important. Remember, the more color we have, the more nutritional value we'll get out of it. So I don't mind if my peppers are a little bit chunky in size. So we're just gonna cut this up. All right, my mushrooms are looking great. I'm Just gonna take this, run this through here. So now we're just gonna cut this last piece up, and then peppers are ready to go in. I'm gonna give my mushrooms a little stir. Oh, they look great. And you'll see the more they cook, the smaller they get, but the texture they get is incredible. All right, so I'm gonna start adding, and look at the color difference there. All right, we have that dark color and the light color of the mushrooms. And then we have that really vibrant color of those bell peppers. All right, that looks beautiful. So we're just gonna let that mix in. Now I haven't added my zucchini to this yet. The reason I haven't added to it is because zucchini cooks pretty quickly. If I added it too early, the last thing I want it to be is like mushy. Right? I hate mushy zucchini, and I know a lot of people hate mushy zucchini too. So I just want to make sure we add it in more towards the end when I know it's going to cook. Now I'm going to add my rosemary. So I have my rosemary, I have my thyme, then I have my cayenne. Now I was telling you before, I was in instructor cordon bleu for about 10 years. And we would do one of the sauces, and one of the sauces that we had cayenne pepper in it. And when you add cayenne pepper to something, it doesn't really produce fire or really get its strength until it has time to kind of bloom, it's called. Once it sits in a dish and it gets time to heat up and mix with a lot of the liquid that's in there, that's when it's blooming. It's really giving you all its flavor, but it's also giving you all its heat. Well, a lot of students didn't know that. So they would add cayenne to a dish, and then they would taste it. I don't taste anything. Then they would add more cayenne to a dish and taste it. I still don't taste anything. Then they would add more cayenne to the dish and then taste it. By that time, the first part of the cayenne was really starting to bring it. So by the time 10 minutes later, they would come bring it to me for tasting, for evaluation. I mean, it was like liquid lava. It was so hot. So when you're using it on your dish, remember, give it a minute, give it 2 minutes, give it 3 minutes to kind of absorb and really develop flavor, and then give it a taste and see where it's at. You can always adjust and add more, but once it's in, it's impossible to take it out. It's going to be super hot. So you want to be really, really careful. Now, again, if you didn't want to add it, you don't have to add it. That's totally up to you. All right, so this is looking incredible. Now I'm going to add my tomato to this. I'm going to let that get in there. And what that tomato will do is it'll start to kind of break down and actually start to soften up some of the dry herbs that I put in there. I'm also going to add a little bit of chicken stock to this, because that's also going to help it. Now comes time for the chickpeas. So we're going to get some protein out of this as well. Remember, your main protein, your complete protein, is going to come from our quinoa. So now we're just going to turn this up a little bit. And we're just going to kind of let it simmer to really start to mix flavors and kind of blend flavors in. Now while that's going, I'm going to get my green beans chopped up. And you can see here is we have a lot of flavors, a lot of different textures on here, which is a good thing. That's what we want. All right, so we'll just cut these up kind of small because I want it to be around the same size as everything else. So you see that was super easy. Now these can be fresh green beans, it can be frozen green beans, it can be frozen broccoli, it can be whatever frozen vegetable you want to add to this. All right, that's totally up to you. So now we're just gonna kind of mix this in. Now my green beans are partially cooked, so I know as I sit them in there, they're gonna get in that liquid and start to also cook at the same time. All right, one of the things we want to do is get you in and out of the kitchen as quick as possible. And the way we do that is we build dishes that kind of cook, at the same rate. So once you're all done cooking, the whole entire dish is done. So we expedite that cooking process. I don't want to add one thing in, wait until it cooks, and then add another thing in, wait until it cooks. It just makes it way too long that you're in the kitchen. All right, and then things overcook, they get mushy, and that's not what we want. All right, this is looking really good. So now I'm just gonna get a little bit of salt in there, some of my herb salt. And again, we're adding so many flavors on there, we want to make sure we season with each layer of flavor that we put in there. Now, while that's simmering right quick, I'm going to get and finish cutting up my zucchini. So you'll see all you're going to do is just slice this down. Nice and easy, take your time. And then we'll just make nice dice out of this too. So we'll just take it, slice it. And we don't want them to be too small or too big. Too small, they overcook and get mushy. Too big, they take too long to cook, and then everything else starts to get mushy. So we just want to make sure they're about the same size as everything else. Now, I love using zucchini in this dish also, because you can see when you look at zucchini, it's almost like a sponge. Whatever liquid is in there, this zucchini is going to start to absorb it. So now every bite of zucchini I get is going to have that delicious flavor, that delicious kind of sauce in there. So I'm just going to cut this up real quick, and then we'll toss all of these in there as well. And you can see it's a pretty fast dish to make. If we weren't talking so much, the dish would probably be done already. All right, so I'm going to start adding all this in there. And it's going to be an incredible dish. Flavor-wise, it's going to be incredible. But nutritionally, it's also going to be great. And of course, we always want to stay within budget. So cost-wise, this is going to be an amazing dish also. And you can see all this incredible color and texture. This looks delicious. I wish you could smell it, because it smells incredible. Alright, so once we get that mixed in, we're pretty much done. Now we're just going to let it sit. But now we just want to let our zucchini kind of warm up and just cook a little bit. Remember, it's going to cook pretty quickly now. Zucchini doesn't take long to cook at all. So we want to make sure that it just kind of gets soft and it absorbs that. So while that's going, I'm just going to take my fresh herbs and just chop these up. Now I'm using cilantro in this, but if you wanted to use parsley, if you wanted to use basil, if you wanted to use Swiss chard if you wanted to, or kale would work well in here too. All right, there's a whole mess of different herbs that you can put in here. Green leafy vegetables, if you wanted to put in there, you can chop those up and get those in there too. All right, I don't want you to be limited just to what I'm making. I want you to really push yourself and make it your own. All right, I'm going to give you the base. You will make it your own, and you'll make it better. So we're going to toss this in here, our fresh herbs. All right, that smells incredible. All right, I'm just going to give it a little stir now, just to incorporate all my fresh herbs in there. And your fresh herb, oh my goodness, it smells so good. When you start adding them in there into that hot pan, they really start to release a lot of their aroma almost instantly as soon as they touch that, your hot vegetables. All right, and then this is pretty much done. All we want to do now is just let it simmer for a couple minutes. So I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to get this ready. I'm going to go check on my quinoa to see how that looks, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Chef Rich here, and I want to officially introduce you to my one plate herb salt. Now, this is the perfect all-in-one seasoning that I carefully handcrafted to enhance any dish. Now, our proprietary herb blend not only provides delicious flavor, but also offers antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties for the health-conscious eater. Now, it's also packed with vitamins and minerals, and that green hue comes from the natural chlorophyll found in fresh herbs. Now imagine the possibilities. Succulent meats, tender chicken, flaky fish, perfectly cooked eggs, vibrant salads, and crisp vegetables, all elevated to new heights with the irresistible flavor and health benefits it provides. Now don't settle for ordinary seasonings that merely add flavor. Experience the difference and savor the amazing taste that only our herb salt can provide. To get some for yourself, visit our website. Vegetables, done. They taste amazing, and oh my goodness, they're spicy, which is great. Now let's check out the quinoa. Let's see how this looks. Oh, that looks beautiful. So soft and fluffy. That's great. Now, it's time to plate up. The first thing we'll do is add some of our quinoa. I'm just gonna make a nice little bed of quinoa right there. That's perfect. Then I'm gonna get a nice spoonful of my veg and just add it to it. Now the great thing is if I want more, I can definitely come and eat more. I'm gonna get some of this liquid in there too, because the liquid has a ton of flavor in there. And that's it. Tons of flavor. Now come on, it doesn't get any easier than this. All right, if we work together getting healthy and feeling better, it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I promise. We'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. And we'll do it one plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Oh my goodness. That quinoa is just incredible. I can eat the whole thing just the way it is. Now, do you want to learn more easy to follow tips and techniques that'll transform your cooking game? Join me for live cooking classes and keep learning with our One Plate Cooking Club. Visit our website today and sign up for your favorite class. I'll see you next time.